I wrote my first song when I was in my first relationship. I was far too young and insecure, and we weren't a good fit, but I didn't realize it at the time. I didn't want to accept those feelings and deal with the repercussions, pun intended. But when I sat down one day with my guitar, with no clear intention in mind, I wrote a breakup song. All these people change, but you will stay the same. You don't know how to play, just enjoy the game. Sometimes it's nice to have a little mystery. It's nice to forget about the history. Playing that for my girlfriend while we were still together was probably not the brightest idea, but the art I made forced me to accept this incompatibility and hopefully be better for it. Art is a great tool for eliciting the truth. It brings out the things about ourselves we know but are afraid to confront. It is a vessel to communicate the truths which we might not be able to express in words, and it extracts beauty and meaning from struggle that we can better cope with. We process so much in our lives and are often so fraught with trauma and coping mechanisms that we hide that truth. We steal away from our feelings and become lost. Creating art is a way for us to process the feelings which we cannot see, translate them into a deeper understanding, and often a path to follow. In my life, writing music has always been a way to hold myself accountable. It shows me the truths about myself I don't want to accept. I actually took that song to some of my musician friends, and they listened to it once, joined in, and that was the beginning of my band. That band marked the spirit of my high school experience. I wasn't having any ethical breakthroughs or deep philosophical journeys. I made music with my band that was scattered, meaningless, and amateur. And above all things, it was fun. My life in high school followed that mandate. I eschewed any real meaning or deep connection with my friends in favor of passing moments of mindlessness and shallow situations. I spent my years there making music that had no purpose, and spent the rest of my time in the same way. Oh, won't you gather round my fleeting dream? Dark reproach. How long are you willing to feign to be soul in prose? But it ain't no problem rolling poorly, getting snake-eyed in the morning. The lyrics of this song were ones that scolded me for such an attitude. They were disappointed in my superficiality. In making this song, I realized an uncomfortable truth about myself, which was that if I continued to take life as a joke, it would become one. Art allows us to realize these uneasy things about ourselves that we aren't consciously ready to confront, things that we keep hidden even to ourselves. Creating art is a way to evade this unconscious hiding that I think we, as humans, are so prone to. And so upon writing that song and accepting my failings, I decided to focus on my friends and the music we made together. Not just to have fun this time, but to feel and connect. Art is also a powerful tool to express truth when words fail us. We see so many musicians create art in order to communicate an unspeakable inner tension. Pink Floyd's Wish You Were Here, lamenting the mental health issues and eventual death of their former bandmate Syd Barrett. She Talks with Angels by the Black Crowes, written to try and help a friend with their heroin addiction. Or Colin Hayes, Waiting for My Real Life to Begin, chastising himself for his need for fame and its fading presence in his life. Musicians, or the good ones, create art in order to speak a truth they think needs to be heard. For me, art has always been a powerful method to communicate the feelings I found impossible to express in words. After high school, the time came for my band to go our separate ways, and we all ran off to college. We didn't break up, but it definitely felt like the beginning of an end. I needed to say something to try and save our relationship. I needed to try and find closure, at least. But I was so scared of being vulnerable and feeling the pain of losing this thing that I had that I bottled it up. I was unable at that time in my life to express what my friends, my bandmates, meant to me. But I wasn't willing to go start a new chapter of my life without letting them know how much I love them. And here art comes in again as a vital tool for difficult communication. It allows us, just like the musicians we so cherish, to speak a truth with more than just words. It brings a beauty and power to our convictions that allow us the courage to express them where before we couldn't. And so the week before I drove down to Georgia, I wrote this song to say goodbye to my friends. We just keep on getting older. I'll be the cripple and you play the soldier. Blended memories fade. Losing mornings, they're all the same. I'm glad I'm getting out of here. I found myself, but I sold the year. Broken words are in the past. I'd be better at goodbyes if they didn't move so fast. But art isn't just a tool for self-awareness or communication. It can also allow us to bring truth from trauma. Art therapy is a type of psychiatric care that directly utilizes this idea to help patients who struggle with depression, PTSD, childhood trauma, and drug addiction bring out their unprocessed memories and painful emotions to the forefront, where they can be dealt with in a more gentle way. Patients will sit at an art easel and just paint without a real purpose, and naturally, their pain and trauma will feature its way into their work. It can then be understood in a safer environment and with a new perspective. I can't tell you the amount of times I've sat down with my guitar just to play a few songs and end up accessing the most painful, guilt-ridden, and complicated moments in my life. And we can all do this. It doesn't require some skill level or a background in art. We can lead this process in our daily life. Just write poetry, draw some pictures, strum out some chords on the guitar. We can lead our own art therapy in order to bring truth from pain. For me, I've always used music in order to find closure and truth for moments of depression throughout my life. And the pandemic we're living in right now specifically comes to mind. College has been an interesting experience, and I'm still in the middle of it, so I'll report what I find in a couple of years, but it's been a roller coaster, and COVID derailed a lot. I came home from a spring break and couldn't go back to school, and I had no idea what I'd do. The people I cared about most were so far away from me, and even to this day, I've been unable to see most of them. And here again, art allows us to find truth. In this case, find the truth in struggle. Weather pain in our life and come out of it with a lesson. Sort through the colliding emotions of sorrow and pull out a truth which, if still painful, is more understandable. Because of COVID, I was a long way away from my friends, and it felt like my life was frozen in time. I was distraught. And so I used my own art therapy to help me get through a period of isolation. I made another song.
If I go
run back to Georgia. It just won't feel the same. Oh, love, people I know there have already gone away. In essence, art evades the human habit of hiding. It's impossible to create art that is not truthful. If it's inauthentic, then it's not art. And in doing so, it allows us to see what we genuinely need and truly feel. If you're confused or lost, wrestling with something bad within you, need to say something hard to someone you love, or just trying to sort out a sadness, create art. It's a litmus test, a GPS. It's a friend that doesn't sugarcoat. My music, regardless of whether or not it's good or bad, tasteful or cheesy, helps me frame and process my own story. It's one of the only ways I take the pain and awkwardness, the tragedy and laughter of life, and make it into something knowable, if still messy. It's not the sole solution to life's problems, but at least in creating art, I know who I must be and what I'm up against. We can't change all the things in our life that don't make sense or damage us, and that's just the way it is. Life is like a long car drive. It's annoying, it's exhausting, you end up making a lot of wrong turns, and you'll just have to deal with it. But the right playlist will make all the difference.